There are moments in life that whisper instead of shout. And when it comes to the final stage of life, those whispers often take the form of subtle but serious physical and emotional changes. If you have an aging parent, partner, or friend, and especially if you're a senior yourself, understanding these changes is not just helpful, it's essential. Because most people don't talk about what really happens before someone dies, and even fewer know what to watch for. Today, we're going to gently but clearly walk through the 5 most common warning signs that 99% of seniors display in the weeks or months before passing. These aren't superstitions or vague guesses. They're medically observed, emotionally profound, and deeply human signals that the body and spirit are preparing for a transition. Now, before we dive in, let's set one thing straight. This video isn't meant to create fear. It's meant to empower, because when you know what's happening, you can support your loved one with grace, love, and dignity. And if you're the one going through these changes, it can help you understand yourself with compassion, not confusion. Many people think death comes suddenly, like a light switch turning off. But in truth, the body often begins its preparation weeks or even months ahead. These signs may start subtly: a shift in appetite, a change in breathing, a sudden desire to withdraw. They're easy to overlook until they're not. Let me tell you why this matters. Families often miss these signs or misinterpret them as unrelated symptoms. He's just tired. She's not hungry today. He's just in a mood. And by the time they realize what was really happening, it's too late to have important conversations, grant final wishes, or provide the comfort their loved one needs most. I've worked with hundreds of hospice caregivers, nurses, and families who've all said the same thing. I wish I had known what to look for. That's why we're here. This isn't about doom. This is about dignity. Over the next 5 parts, we'll explore these 5 signs in depth. Withdrawal from the world. Why seniors start pulling away emotionally and socially. Changes in eating and drinking. What the body tells us when it stops craving food. Altered breathing patterns. The rhythms and pauses that signal the body is slowing. A sudden burst of energy. Why some seniors seem to rally just before passing. A deep spiritual or emotional shift. Signs of acceptance, visions, and peace. Each of these may appear on its own, or several may arrive together. But nearly every senior who is close to the end will exhibit at least one of these signs. And knowing what they mean can bring comfort instead of fear. One of the first signs that a senior may be nearing the end of life isn't physical at all. It's emotional. It's subtle. It often goes unnoticed by even the closest family members, but it's one of the most important signals the body and mind give us before death: emotional withdrawal. You might notice that someone who was once talkative becomes quieter. Someone who loved daily visits begins closing their bedroom door more often. They may stop participating in favorite hobbies. Their phone calls get shorter. Their eyes seem distant. It's not depression, and it's not sadness in the typical sense. It's a deeper kind of inward turning. What's happening is this: the body and mind are beginning to conserve energy, not just physically, but emotionally too. Seniors who are approaching death often begin to detach from the world around them, slowly and silently. They start reflecting more inwardly. Memories surface, regrets soften, and often, without realizing it, they begin the process of saying goodbye long before their final breath. This stage can be confusing for family members. You might think they're upset with you. You might feel like they're pushing you away. But this isn't personal. It's biological, it's spiritual, and most importantly, it's normal. Studies have shown that as the body prepares for the final stage of life, It naturally begins to prioritize internal processes over external ones. The brain reduces social processing to reserve energy for more essential functions. The heart slows. Hormones change. The mind enters a more reflective state. In hospice care, this phase is known as life review. It's when many seniors quietly begin processing their life story. They may bring up long-forgotten memories. They may speak in metaphors. They may ask strange, existential questions. This is not confusion. It's a sign that they are moving into a deeper level of awareness. If your loved one begins to pull away, here's what you can do. Respect their space without disappearing. Sit quietly in the room. Let them know you're near, without needing them to engage. Speak gently and openly. You don't need long conversations. A few words like, "I'm here" or "I love you" are more powerful than you realize. Avoid forcing activity. This is not the time to push them to eat, socialize, or cheer up. Let them move at their own pace. Watch for emotional windows. Some days they may want to talk. Others, they may not. Follow their lead. It's also important to understand that withdrawal can be a way of coping. Your loved one may be protecting themselves, and even protecting you, from the full emotional weight of what's coming. This is their way of transitioning with dignity. One caregiver told me about her father, who in his final weeks stopped engaging in family game night, something he once loved. Instead, he spent hours sitting on the porch in silence. At first, she was hurt. Then, she joined him. She said nothing. And in that quiet, they shared more than words ever could. If you're the one experiencing this withdrawal, please know you're not doing anything wrong. You're not giving up. You're preparing. You're conserving your energy for the journey ahead. And that is a deeply human, deeply sacred thing. Emotional withdrawal isn't a sign of weakness or sadness. It's a sign that the soul is preparing to cross a threshold. And when we recognize it for what it is, we can meet our loved ones where they are, not where we wish they would be. Perhaps one of the most misunderstood and most emotionally difficult signs that someone is nearing death is when they stop eating or drinking. To family members, it's heartbreaking. We are wired to associate food with life, love, and care. So when a loved one begins refusing meals or taking only sips of water, it can feel like they're giving up. But here's what you need to know. This change in appetite is not a failure. It is a natural, biological part of the dying process. As the body nears the end of life, its systems begin to slow down. Metabolism decreases. The digestive system becomes less efficient. The need for fuel diminishes. The organs are no longer working at full capacity, and the body begins to conserve energy by shutting down non-essential functions, including hunger and thirst. From a medical perspective, forcing food or fluids during this stage can actually create more discomfort. The digestive system may not be able to process what you give them. This can lead to bloating, nausea, vomiting, or aspiration when food or liquid enters the lungs. That's why most hospice care professionals focus not on nutrition, but on comfort. Let me be clear. This change in appetite is not starvation. It's not neglect. It's the body's way of saying, "I no longer need this." Forcing food can make your loved one feel worse, allowing their body to follow its natural course, while offering comfort and presence is the gentler, more respectful path. You may notice signs like a few bites and then refusal, difficulty swallowing, disinterest in favorite foods, falling asleep during meals, drinking less, or only moistening lips. What can you do when this happens? Offer small comforts. Instead of full meals, provide tiny sips of water, ice chips, or a cool sponge on the lips. Use lip balm to keep the mouth moist. Let go of pressure. Don't beg or plead. Your loved one isn't rejecting you. They're listening to their body. Focus on presence. Hold their hand. Play gentle music. Read to them. Just be there. Use comfort feeding if appropriate. Some may accept a spoonful of broth or a bit of fruit. If they do, great. If not, it's okay. Remember, the desire to nourish someone you love is a beautiful instinct. But in this sacred stage, what they need most may no longer be nutrients, but your calm, understanding presence. There's also a powerful emotional shift that happens during this time. Many seniors begin to detach not only from physical needs, but from worldly pleasures. Food, once a joy, becomes irrelevant. This is often a sign that they are beginning to transition from the body to the spirit. I've heard countless stories from caregivers. A mother who used to love tea now won't touch it. A grandfather who used to ask for coffee now pushes the cup away. These are not signs of despair. They are signs of peace. The body is slowing down. The soul is preparing. If you're the one going through this, know this: you are not failing. Your body is wise. Let it guide you. Eat or drink if you feel the need, but if you don't, it's okay. Let go without fear. As the end of life approaches, one of the most visible and often most startling changes is in the way a person breathes. For caregivers and loved ones, this shift can be frightening. The breathing may sound labored, irregular, or too shallow. There might be long pauses between breaths, gasps, or strange patterns that feel unfamiliar. But here's what I want you to understand. These changes are expected, and in most cases, they're not painful. When a senior is nearing death, their body begins to follow a new rhythm, one that doesn't match what we're used to seeing in daily life. These breathing patterns are a reflection of a body that is slowing down. The systems that control respiration, like the brainstem and muscles, are conserving energy. The lungs are no longer working to maintain prolonged activity. Instead, breathing becomes intermittent and often automatic, driven by the brain's instinctive signals, not conscious control. One of the most common patterns you may notice is called Cheyne-Stokes breathing. This involves a cycle where breaths become progressively deeper, then shallower, followed by a pause, sometimes lasting up to 30 seconds or more. It can be deeply unsettling to witness. Some loved ones think the person has stopped breathing, but after the pause, the cycle begins again. Another sound that causes concern is what's commonly called the death rattle. This happens when saliva and mucus collect in the throat and airways because the person can no longer swallow or cough effectively. The result is a wet, rattling sound with each breath. Let me reassure you, while these sounds can seem distressing to hear, they do not mean the person is suffering. Most of the time, they are not even aware of them. The body is simply doing what it must to complete its final tasks. So what can you do in these moments? Stay calm. Your presence matters more than your reaction. If you appear frightened, it can create tension. Breathe with them. Sit quietly. Elevate the head, slightly propping up their head and shoulders, and ease the rattling sound. Use a humidifier or mouth swabs. These help keep the airways moist and comfortable. Don't force fluids or oxygen. Unless specifically ordered by a doctor, these can sometimes cause more discomfort than benefit. Touch gently. Place your hand on theirs or rest a palm on their shoulder. It offers comfort and grounding. One hospice nurse once told me, "The body knows how to die the same way it knows how to be born." It's a natural process. Messy, yes. Different, yes. But not wrong and not something to fear. It's also important to listen to your intuition during this time. Many families say they could feel the moment when the breathing shifted for good. They knew, without being told, that the end was near. Trust that inner knowing. It's often more accurate than a monitor or machine. And if you're the one experiencing these changes in yourself, know that you are not alone. Every breath is sacred. Every pause is part of the transition. There is no right or wrong way, only the way that is unfolding for you. Perhaps one of the most mystifying and emotionally powerful moments that can occur before a senior passes is what's often called the final rally. It's that unexpected burst of energy, clarity, or peace that happens in the hours or days before death. Families are often caught off guard by it. They might think their loved one is improving. They laugh, they speak, they even eat after days of silence. But then, just as suddenly, they slip back into sleep, and soon after, they're gone. Let me tell you, this phenomenon is real, and it is profound. It's not just wishful thinking. It has been observed by hospice nurses, doctors, and families around the world. While science can't fully explain it, experience tells us that this is a natural and sacred part of the dying process. The final rally may look different from person to person. For some, it's a moment of lucidity. They wake up, ask for a favorite food, or tell a joke. For others, it's emotional. They ask to see someone they haven't spoken to in years, or they finally say something they've been holding in. Some seniors seem to glow. Their skin brightens, their eyes shine, and their voice regains strength. Why does this happen? One theory is that the brain and body, after days or weeks of decline, produce a temporary surge of adrenaline or endorphins. This may allow the person to feel better just long enough to connect one last time with their loved ones. Another theory is that it's spiritual, a final alignment between the soul and the physical world before letting go. Whatever the reason, here's what's important. It is not a recovery. As hopeful as it feels, the final rally is often a final gift, a moment of peace and connection before the transition. Trying to snap them out of it or plan for more treatment at this point often leads to disappointment and confusion. Instead, treat this window with reverence. If your loved one shows signs of a final rally, be present. Drop everything. Sit with them. Hold their hand. This moment is likely the last time you'll have that kind of connection. Listen deeply. They may speak truths, ask forgiveness, express love, or make unexpected requests. Listen with your heart wide open. Say what matters. Tell them you love them. Tell them they can let go. Tell them you'll be okay. These words stay in their spirit, even if you think they don't hear them. Don't overanalyze. This isn't about medical signs. It's about soul signs. Let it be what it is. One family I worked with had a grandmother who had been nonverbal for 2 weeks. Suddenly, one morning, she sat up, looked each of her grandchildren in the eye, and said, "You've all done well. I'm proud of you." She drank half a cup of tea. That night, she passed away in her sleep. For those experiencing this burst of energy themselves, it may feel like clarity washing over you. You may feel lighter, freer, or more awake than you have in days. That's not a mistake. That's your soul clearing space to cross over. Use it as a time to say what you need to say, to release, to rest. In these final moments, the body lets go, but the heart speaks loudly. These are not medical events. They are sacred transitions. Recognizing the final rally for what it is helps families move from fear to gratitude, from confusion to closure. And when the moment passes, don't chase it. Let them go with the peace they've just given you. Thank you for walking through this 5-part journey with me. I hope these signs, the withdrawal, the loss of appetite, the shifting breath, and the final rally, have helped you understand what so many experience in silence. Because the end of life isn't just about dying. It's about loving someone all the way through the end. And when you recognize the signs, you give them the one thing they truly need: presence, not panic; comfort, not confusion; love, not fear. Until we meet again, take care of each other and honor every breath.